Only a few days to go until double game week 22. I'm going to give you a list of players that are on my shopping list. Let's see if I can persuade you to put them on yours as well before the Friday deadline. Hi Fantasy Managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video then I'm going to have a look at some players that I'm going to be looking to bring in for game week 22. It is a double game week. At the time of recording we're still in the game week 21. This is the longest game week in the history of FPL. Going on for ages, but we've got a couple of days until the deadline. Remember, it's a Friday, so it's a short deadline. We haven't got as much time to consider these moves. As always, wait until the last minute, waiting for team news, any postponements. But at the moment, we've got 8 teams double hitting in double game week 22, so we're going to have a look at some of those players, the longer term prospects. Free hits, I've already covered that in previous videos. Go and have a look at those if you're interested. And remember guys, before we go into it, if you enjoy this content, give it a like, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into it. On screen then, I have the fixtures for game week 22 up. There are 4 fixtures which include 8 teams double game weeking. Then we have Burnley out of Watford, Brighton, Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs and Brentford, Manchester United all tagged on to the end of these fixtures. Remember, it is an early deadline on Friday, so the deadline will be at 6:30. Don't get caught out by that old chestnut. Initially, I was thinking about calling it something like a must-haves or a watch list video, and then when I started looking through the players who I'd target, I just felt there wasn't any one particular player that I thought was absolutely a nailed-on must-have. There were a few teams that I'd like to target and a number of options, which we will go through. But the players that we're going to look at in this now watch list are going to be players that are going to be double game week, and those are the ones that I'm mostly interested in. Beyond that, if you want to have a look at the fixtures, I'll put them on the screen. But if it's just a one-hit wonder you're looking at for a free hit, then check out my previous videos. Obviously, don't forget to hit the subscribe. We're doing team selection, wildcard and free hit videos probably coming out next week if anyone who's interested in those. I've avoided Chelsea's fixtures for this watch list. I just feel Chelsea's fixtures, obviously they've got Manchester City away, difficult game at Brighton as well. Then they're blanking later on. I just don't want to bring any of their assets in. They just don't interest me. It's not the right time. And the other team are just Leicester. With their game being postponed tomorrow night, I felt as well very risky looking at their players. Not many on target perhaps other than Maddison, but I've just avoided them for the purpose of this video. I'm looking elsewhere. So let's have a look at the first player. First off then, player on the top of my watch list, Lucas Moura. If like me you've moved from Salah to Son, now we're looking for a replacement for Son, I think that Tottenham's fixtures double game week look pretty decent. It's an easy route back to Salah as well, which I'm going to absolutely want when he comes back from AFCON. Whether that's in game week 23 or 24, I'm still going to want to move to him. This makes it a nice simple move straight back from Moura to Salah. Games after this week, he's got obviously Arsenal, Leicester, then he has Chelsea. That's a game I'm probably going to want to avoid. Southampton looks like a game I want to target, but maybe a case of having brought Salah back in by then. But who knows if Moore's really doing his business, perhaps I want to keep him in. 2 goals so far this season, 3 assists, XGI is okay. Remember, he's only 6.5, started 11 of the last 13. What I quite like is he has been rested in the FA Cup. And his last 5 games, actually, he's overachieving what he has over the season. So it's 0.65, so he's getting better. Talked about the Son injury. That really makes him the obvious choice to step into that. Because he's been rested as well, I just think he's a really good option for the next 2 games. Double that opportunity. If you double his XGI for 2 games, you're almost expecting to get some sort of goal involvement. I'm not sure I'll be brave enough to captain him, but he looks really good. He looks a really good option for me, and he's top of my list. Next then, obviously his compatriot, seems really obvious, but I don't think we can avoid talking about him. 12.5 million, he is expensive, Harry Kane. 4 goals, 1 assist. By his standards, that's really not good. 0.58 expected goal involvement. 19, he's played all 19 of the last games. And obviously Conte has already told us he's pretty much unrotational, if that's a word. He just doesn't get dropped. So I'd say he's nailed for playing both games, which is real attractive proposition. He is expensive, and can you bring him in and try and get back to Salah as well? Keep banging on about it, but you really will want to get back to Salah with those Liverpool fixtures, or is it too much to unravel? If you can do it, great. If you're prepared to take a hit, possibly worth it, because he's definitely a caption next move. Would I go from Ronaldo to Kane? I don't think I would. But I think Kane, if you wanted to do that, I'd be absolutely fine. I think Kane's a great option. For me, I just find it difficult to get back to Salah in one hit, and I'm not sure he's worth a hit over Moura. Don't think Tottenham are that impressive that I think Kane's going to suddenly explode into life. But we know what he's capable of. 12.5 million could be a steal still. Last one. So we've got Sergio Aguero. Looking at it, he's got 1 goal, 3 assists, 0.26 expected goal involvement. 7 last 9 games. Time for both games is a worry for me. Will he play them both? Longer term, the fixtures look okay. But I will say that since Conte's come in, he's played a lot before Conte, but since Conte's come in, he's got his goal and his 3 assists. So is that a sign that he's really attacking, getting forward and thriving under Conte? Minutes have been an issue. He doesn't seem to complete 90 minutes that often. That doesn't really worry me. If he was brought after 60 minutes against Arsenal, if anything, I'm happy that he might have locked in a clean sheet by then. But also it tells me that he'll be rested for the Leicester game. So I'm not particularly worried about that. Will he play both games? I'm just not sure he will. Possibly Dyer or Davis might be a safer option. I've already got Reguilon in, so I'm not taking him out. Would I bring him in? Not sure. Not sure I would, because those longer term fixtures, Chelsea, Wolves, Man City, difficult games. Not sure he'd be the one I'll be looking at. But maybe as if you've got a transfer to burn and then bring him out after this double game week. Yeah, certainly an option, because he is the biggest goal threat in that defensive Tottenham back line. Here's an interesting one, and we definitely want to be targeting Watford players. In my opinion, there's only 2 Watford players that we could be looking at: Josh King and Emmanuel Dennis. Look at those next 3 fixtures. In 2 game weeks, they've got 3 good fixtures: Newcastle, Burnley, Norwich. After that, gets trickier. So, who do we bring out of the pair of them? Do you have both of them? 5.8, 6.1, they're good prices. One time they were the same price, but Dennis, obviously much more popular, scoring a few more goals more recently. 8 goals they've got each this season. 6 assists for Dennis, 5 for King. 0.55 to 0.41. That's non-penalty XGI. So actually King's on penalty, so no reason why we can't include that, but it would go up to 0.61. So he's almost 30% better off than Dennis in terms of his GI. Started last 10, King, he plays 90 minutes pretty much every game. Dennis started last 8, brought off early, and he does have a flag on at the moment, which is a bit of a concern. So, comparing the 2, one thing that goes against King, you'd have to say, he's only got 1 goal involvement and assist in the last 5 games. Dennis has got 3 goals. King is on penalties, remember. He is cheaper, and there is a flag on Dennis as well. So I'm not quite sure why that is. We'll have to wait for team press conferences. You'd imagine if there's a chance he'll be fit, he will play. But will he play both games? That's got to be another option as well. So, on par, I've already got Dennis in my side. I got him quite early, so he's quite cheap, and I've got money locked into him. I'm not going to waste the transfer moving across to King, but I think if I was to buy one of them now, for minutes, I'll be happier with King. He's on pens, he's playing down the middle, and also he just doesn't have that flag. Form tells you that Dennis is in better form. I think, though, I would probably go for King. Okay, looking at Manchester United, definitely got some decent fixtures. Longer term, they have some great fixtures as well. Villa at home, Brentford. They've got West Ham, that'll be tricky. Then you've got Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, Watford. Wow, he's a player, Ronaldo, that you'd want to keep on. It's 8 goals this season, 3 assists. XG is brilliant, 0.7. We know he's on pens now. He's started 14 in the last 16. Rested in the FA Cup. That's good news as far as I'm concerned. That means he possibly will play both the next 2 games. That can only be a good thing. The longer term fixtures look great, so he wouldn't just be for this double game week. Look at those fixtures longer term as well. Only other problem for me, how do you get back to Salah? Do I take a hit to get him back in whenever he comes back in? I've got the money up front, I want it in midfield. Difficult then to manoeuvre the money around. If you can do both and bring Salah and Ronaldo in, brilliant. That's a great signing. I think he's the best out of all those Manchester United options. The only other ones would be possibly, did think about putting Maguire, but obviously he's not played the last couple of games. Will he therefore come straight into the side, even if fit, and play both games? Luke Shaw seems to be, Rangnick seems fairly comfortable with rotating his players, so I don't see many of them getting 2 games. Wan-Bissaka, he's not playing sort of more than 2 games at a time either. You've got Dala, then you've got Luke Shaw swapping it over as well with Telles, so I'm just not convinced that they'll all play. So the only one I'll really be comfortable looking at, I think, is Ronaldo, and he's a captaincy option. So absolutely, Ronaldo looks like a good choice. The last one I'm going to look at then was Brighton. Their fixtures Chelsea at home, Palace at home. They've got some better ones in the longer term, but they do blank in game week 24, so that puts me off a little bit. Terry Lamptey, he hasn't scored this season. He's only got 1 assist, 0.23. He has a goal threat. Started 4 of the last 5. The worry for me is he's been injured for a long time, so they are managing his minutes. If you played FPL last season, you'd know what a great asset he was at the start of last season, what an attacking threat and what a good player he is. But he has been out a long time. Fixtures look good, but you've got that blank game week as well, which certainly puts me off. Chelsea as well, but he is an attacking threat. 4.5. He's obviously got the cheapness on his side as well. I do like him. He is a good player. We know how good Brighton can be in defensively. Just not sure of all the defensive options. Can you bring him in? I think for a cheap option, if it's going to allow you to bring someone else in elsewhere, by all means. And a double game week at home to both sides. I mean, I can see him keeping 1 clean sheet there. You know what? They were good against Chelsea, possibly 2, but will he play both games? Not sure. I hope you found that useful, guys. Let me know what you're doing. Have I persuaded you to take on any of these players? Are you going to free hit? Who are you bringing in for double game week 22? Hit that subscribe button. Click on the like. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to do. In the meantime, good luck. Speak to you soon.